Hey, hey, we're live here with the HBCU Stroll. I'm great to be feeling good to come back and talk about HBCU football. Man, today I got three special guests. You know, everybody's been talking about the Bethune-Cookman deal, Ed Reed, Deion Sanders, talk about HBCUs, but nobody talks to the people who do it, done it, been there, the ups, the downs, the sacrifices, is the former head football coaches. I think our former head football coaches don't get enough praise. You know, once you win so many championships and then you end up moving, we get lost. People who even analyze HBCU football games are not former coaches or former players per se, and that's just ain't right. You know, when you watch the NFL and those guys come on, they promote each other. When you watch NCAA football with the PWI's Power Five schools, they promote other coaches. One coach go from one place to the other. But in black college football, we get stalemate. Most of the times when a guy leave a head coaching job at a HBCU, he never can bounce back. You know, and that he's a championship coach, and that's what I got on today. I got on championship coaches. If you guys want to know something about black college football, these the guys who you should be calling. These guys should be, first of all, the guys I got today should be coaching today, whether it's a head coaching job or assistant coaching job. But they're not. They're not. And for some reason, we as blacks, we as HBCU schools, at least in the athletic department, I don't know what some of these athletic directors are looking for. If you got a perennial losing program, and you got to know the statistics, 75% of coaches are losing coaches. If you go back and look 4 or 5 years from now and look the list of guys who's been coaches, they no longer coaches. Only about 25% of them. So if I'm in a perennial losing program and I need a guy to come and help me turn my program around, then I'm gonna look for those 25%. And today I got three of them. I got three of those guys that whenever they go, they win. Coaches is not supposed to do what athletic directors and presidents do, and that's raise money. A football coach, a head football coach, supposed to put together a program and supposed to win, and winning raises money. People give money to people, and people support winners. So no, no longer I'm about to bring these guys on. I want to bring on these guys on the show. Uh, so hey, let's bring on Brian Jenkins, LC Cole, and of course Rick Comegy. How you doing, guys?
Doing pretty good.
Good.
Is Rick Coach Comegy on?
Yeah, I'm on.
How you doing? Look,
I'm doing pretty good.
hey, I got the
Having a
first.
little trouble. I'm having a little trouble getting on. Seeing that you seeing me, but I'm on.
Well, I put you on the fly so everybody know how good you look.
Okay.
Coach, real quick, we gonna get right in it. I know, Coach, you got to get back. I got three championship coaches, and I want to get to it because if you're looking for a head coach today, I got three right here that they can put on their list. Coach, you won at Central State, champion. He's part of the national. What? How many national championships, Coach?
I guess about two or three.
Okay, you get the job at Tuskegee. How many national championships, Coach?
I was one there where I had a record of 90 wins and 26 losses when I left. Won
Yes,
a
sir.
lot of Eastern Conference championships.
Yes, sir. And see, hey, Coach, today, y'all think we this group, we don't even talk about conference championship. We talking about national conference, all that good stuff. Coach, you go to Jackson State. I'm gonna say this: you went to four SWAC championship.
Yes, yes, I did. Won and went to four of them, and it was great. It was great. They treated me well, and I really enjoyed it there.
Okay.
I hated leaving.
LC Cole, only black coach. Go ahead, just tell your story real quick. All the wins, first African American captain at University of Nebraska. Uh, you went to a PWI. Hey, we here
Yeah,
today. Go ahead.
yeah, I coached, and like you say, in the major leagues, and then I came down, and my first head job was at Tennessee State University, where we went over and took a program that hadn't won almost about 15 years, and we was able to turn the program around. And when you're at Tennessee State, you're in Ohio Valley Conference, so you're playing a little bit different breed of football. You're playing, our schedule was we played the real tough, black schools like Jackson State, South Carolina State. We played those types, Florida A&M. So we kind of played all those teams. So it was a real tough conference. And then we ended up winning back to back, and like you say, being the first black university to win an all-white conference. Then we went down to Alabama State. First year down there, we ended up winning the East Division Conference, but A&M was able to go, and then we come back the next year back into the championship, playing against Grambling. So, that's the experience that I had since I was in black college.
And you was the last HBCU school to finish #1 in the country in '99.
Right. Yeah,
I don't think nobody ever reached that feat. Yeah.
Yeah, the conference hasn't been that good since 2000, where it was you had normally would have like about 5 or 4 black schools in Division I AA, ranked up there in the conference. You look right now, this year there really nobody. I think it might have been Jackson State might have been the only one that was ranked, but nobody else was ranked in that, in the top 10 in the country.
I lead the last for my young coach. He's the youngest of the group, but he's definitely a championship coach. And he's so happy to coach at the school that's having all these issues over these last couple of days. Coach Jenkins, how many championships you win there? Do I got you?
Coach Jenkins.
All right, we'll move on when Coach get it.
5 championships there.
There you go.
Yeah, he won 5 championships. Is that him, Jenkins?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
college national champion.
Yeah. Coach Comegy, real quick, we're gonna move along and when he get it straight. Coach Comegy.
Yeah.
When you how does it make you feel when you of course you still got the fire in your belly and they tell you to fill this application out, which takes you over an hour online, and then they tell you to send your resume, and then they hire a guy with no experience. As an experienced coach like yourself, how does that make you feel?
Well, naturally, it hurts because you're dying to get in a situation where you can help out. You just feel I feel kind of helpless sometimes, where I know I could have accomplished something and done something for some young people. And they bring in, I'm not going to criticize who they bring in because that's their ball game, but they bring in someone that your resume beats twofold. And it's a shame but yet and still they go with that. You never know why. You wonder what the reason is. You're always thinking, negative about yourself. Maybe they think I'm too old. Maybe they think I can't do it. Maybe they think I can't fundraise. Maybe, you're always going through your own mind because you can get out there and get it done. Right. And it hurts when you can get it done and you don't get a chance.
Well, ain't no question, Coach. You can get it done and got it done. Coach, some professional LC, when you go in and take over these programs that you have, if you've taken them over from college down, you've coached with Nick Saban, you've played for Tom Osborne, you got all the flowers and I don't understand, what happens that you don't get that another opportunity. And then when you look at these guys, like I said when I started the show out, 75% of most coaches lose. There's 25%, and I'm talking to 2.25%. Tell me, when you come into a program, what you look for?
Yeah, it's kind of disheartening, just like Comegy said. You start thinking about yourself. Is it age? But when you look at, you can't really say age, because then when you look at Nick Saban and then you look at all the other coaches that are still out there that are coaching, those guys in their 70s and mid 70s, and still out there coaching. So how do they look at it different than the way we look at it in HBCU? See, that's to me, I'm gonna say it's not fair. And everybody just say, hey, they're putting these young guys into inexperienced conference, and then you look the way the conference is now. I mean, the conference is very weak right now. I mean, like I said, if you go back in the day when Coach Comegy, myself, and these other guys were coaching, shit, it was tough football out there. You had to be prepared and ready to play every week, and that's just the way it was. I mean, it wasn't like games. I mean, we were a Division I AA program, and Comegy with Division II. Shoot, they beat us. So Division II was just as strong as one AA program. So it wasn't really any difference when it came down to black college football, because everybody was out there battling. Everybody was battling on the recruiting, and that's how it was.
Yeah. Yeah, Coach Comegy, I know, they say like LC said, you was at Tuskegee Division II, but you took on all comers. The only thing about you, Coach, is, and you will tell your story. How did you feel? Because we played that classic at the end of the year, the Turkey Day Classic, and man, that game was sold out, 30,000. You didn't get an opportunity to go for that national championship.
Right. Because of only one team. No, it was because I heard it was because of the fact that the teams that in the past, like Grambling and Southern, who was always kind of winning it, wanted to go to that the classic that they have, and it kind of knocked a lot of the other teams out of going into the championship game. And so I had to respect where they were coming from. With Grambling and Southern playing that game at the end of the year and the playoffs beginning. Right. And so we at the conference kind of just let that go, because they were really the two teams, I think, at the dominant force, at one point, in one AA. So it kind of threw everything else off. Some teams tried to get in and opt out, but we were in the conference. And so a lot of times you just couldn't pull it off because of what was going on between those two teams.
Yeah. I think I got Brian. Are you on?
Yes, I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Go ahead on. Hey, yeah, I got. He's still the young pup. Brian.
Toriano fix that computer for him. I know it.
Yeah.
No.
Brian.
Yes.
Man, Bethune-Cookman been all over the page. Can you win? You got to bring a celebrity in to raise money. You got to do this. You went to Bethune-Cookman 5 years, 5 winning seasons.
Right.
Tell us about your national championships and, kind of give us a little spiel about Bethune-Cookman. Is it that awful?
I don't know what has happened. When I was there, it wasn't like that. We had some of the similar issues that they have now, but not to the magnitude that they're dealing with. And I've spoke to other people, and like I've explained to them, I had great leadership there. And that's not questioning the new leadership. I can only speak on what I dealt with. Lynn Thompson, Tony O'Neill, Sandra Booker, they were great leadership. So whenever there was an issue, they jumped right on top of it, got it taken care of, made sure it didn't occur again. Dean Walmack, who held the position that was over the dean of students, he made sure that he stayed ahead of issues like that. But we wanted for nothing. And that's why it's very hurtful to me to see the program decline to the point that it is now. It's unfortunate, but Bethune-Cookman is a wonderful place to coach. It's a wonderful place for student athletes or just regular students to get an education. So I don't know what has happened, but I just hope that everybody can just stop talking about what happened and start talking about how to fix whatever the issues are.
Right. Rick, I mean, everywhere you've been, and I'm from Ohio, I know about Central States. Tell us about Tuskegee. It wasn't, Tuskegee wasn't Tuskegee till you and your staff got there. Rick must have stepped out. LC, let's talk about Tennessee State. Of course, I was a part of that turnaround. When we got to Tennessee State, was it everything in place?
No, you always have to understand that's why you take a program over, because of those things that we're talking about, and then when you go in there, you just got to turn around there and you got to, find the resources to get it done. It's not going to help you going out to the public and exposing everything out to the public because they're not going to make any change or anything like that. You got to talk to the people that's there. You go with your athletic director, who you start with, and then you go to the president. Those are things you kind of start with. And I just kind of thought about the situation there. Did you look at all these things before you stepped into that situation at Bethune-Cookman? I mean, that's a lot of stuff that I'm hearing that's going on through that, but you just got to know how to handle yourself. And I think Reed meant to say the right things, but you can't hammer your program like that. You can't do that because also you kill your recruiting, you kill everything about the institution. So I don't know how you could have took a step forward after you blast the school like that. So I think he just kind of stepped, out of line a little bit there. And I think he was just over anxious to get things going, but I think he just kind of went at it the wrong way. But, like you say, we was at Tennessee State. We had the same issues when we went there. We just had to roll our sleeves up and, hey, I had to mop boards, pick paper up and do those things. And we just did them things. We had to paint the football field. We had to reach in your pocket and use some of your own personal money and everything. And, get hollered at by your spouse and everything. You're using our family money to do these issues.
So what I'm hearing, two different programs, Tennessee State, some of the same things, Bethune-Cookman, some of the same things. Rick, are you there? Oh, he checked out. Well, anyway.
Let me add this, Johnny.
And you two guys turned it around. I mean, gee, you won a championship your first year.
Absolutely. We won it our first year, me and my staff. But here's the thing, just like LC said, you got to roll your sleeves up and you got to go at it. And that's what we did. And the wonderful thing about Cookman is that when we went in that same building that Mr. Reed said was trash, we won our first 2 championships in that building. But what we did, we made that building like the Taj Mahal, the best that we could. Yeah. And when me, my dad, and other coaches was in there knocking down walls and hanging drywall, and other people on campus, other people from the community saw us putting in, so they joined in.
Right.
And that's how we got it done. People at Cookman will give.
Right.
They will give, and they have. Like I say, I wanted for nothing as a coach when I was there, or my team wanted for nothing. But they want to see you put in work for us. Right. And I think, like Elsie said, I think Mr. Reed had the right feeling, the right passion. I think he was a little over anxious, and his emotions got the best of him. But some of the things he said were true. Some of the stuff needed to be addressed. To what magnitude, I don't know. But I think he meant well. But in the work world today, we all know as professionals that when you step on that line of losing your professionalism, there is a consequence. And I think that's what happened. I think he's very remorseful for what he did. But I'm glad that he did speak up, but I mean, he stepped on that line, and that's, the end result is the end result.
Yeah. Rick, are you there now? Rick Comegy.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, go ahead. Rick, I wanted to say they talked about their programs where both of these guys took their teams to national championship. I know when you came in to Tuskegee, everything wasn't there when you came there. You had to build, right?
No, it wasn't there. I remember a time we had the practice field was up on the hill, and it was we go out there and the grass was knee high. I mean, knee high. But we went out there and practiced, and we ran that grass down because we didn't complain about it. We flattened it down just through practice. We didn't have a weight room, what we can call a weight room. We had a hut, but we practiced in there. We went in there even when it rained. I always was a believer that you keep everything away from the players, even though they see it. They see it, but you don't get out there and get at the players. What they see is they got to see what's positive in the coaching staff and how the coaches are positive about what they're going through. I think when you lay it out there for the players, then it gets bigger than what it's supposed to be. Sure, I know they see there were not things that are there, but yet and still they'll work through it.
Right. Now, question, you guys, you guys are championship coaches, and I know I've said that and I'll keep saying that. And I've always believed that yeah, you do need funding, but it's the general. It's the guy who's calling the shots. You know how you guys feel, and I'll start with ULC about the new trend now that you can have all this experience and been a winner, but a guy because he's a celebrity, he gets to come in. He makes more money than both of you guys have. I'm pretty sure. The bank book is open to him. So is it the money or is it the coach? Who's leading the show? Go ahead, LC.
Well, I would use Tennessee State for instance. When I was there, when I was the head coach, and I'll just say we made my salary was $75,000, and we was able to, turn the program and do the right things. So they went through a couple of coaches. Then they bring Eddie George in there. He makes $400,000.
Yeah,
He has no
yeah.
coaching experience, none at all. And a lot of the sisters on didn't make that kind of money when you was their coordinators only made $40,000. Now they're making $150,000, not winning, and losing to inferior people. I don't think it's right, but I just think, to me, what's happening right now is the universities think they can go get these quick fix and bring these big time guys in, and then try to put a program together, and they're not winning, and that's what happened. What I think also is taken away from young black coaches that's coming into the profession, that's working their butt off, and they're not getting any chance to go through and become coordinators and head coaches. Because we're killing our young black coaches right now because they don't have an opportunity, because now every program is looking for pro guys. Pro head coaches come in, and the first thing they do is go hard at pro buddies. So our young black coaches get knocked out of the game.
Yeah. Would you, Gene, when you hear that about celebrity coaches coming in, and the thing about coaching and human, that you go through different things.
Right.
We're hard on each other.
Right.
There's no way that Brian Jenkins still should be coaching. You had some outfield activities, so have I.
Right.
But you just a man like anybody else. But you done your job. How you feel when you see that, when your counterpart across can bounce from job to job. Petrino just got hired at A&M. I think they might be paying him about $1 million.
Yeah.
And there's no way that you should go somewhere. And you got LC Cole at Allen University.
Right.
You're not putting down Allen University because it's a great university. And now you're working at Edward Waters University, trying to hang on, and you got all this talent and knowledge.
Right. Well, first of all, hell, when Cookman hired me, I was a celebrity, so I might have started all this.
Yeah.
But no. First of all, I'm very grateful that Edward Waters gave me a chance. Just like I'm very thankful that Allen has hired a high caliber coach like LC, who I respect, who used to slap me across my head when I was a young coach, and made sure I knew what it took to be successful and do what I needed to do to be a good coach, as far as being knowledgeable. You too, Johnny. I mean, we used to sit down all the time. I remember, hell, I used to run, and you used to ask me a question. If I couldn't answer it, you would just turn and walk off, but I would find you before the end of the day and make sure I got that answer. But it's disturbing that there's an imbalance in coaching. We all know it, and some people say it's a sensitive topic. No, it's not a sensitive topic. It's a true topic. It's a real topic. Yeah. There is some unbalance, and it's unfortunate, but the only thing you can do is keep plugging and trying to change it and make it a level playing field, and hopefully create things better for those to follow. Just like UNLC. UNLC made it better for me to get the opportunity to become a head coach and do what I'm good at. And all I'm trying to do is do the same thing. That's how you guys taught us. But like LC mentioned, these young coaches, they don't have an opportunity now. That opportunity is almost gone because a lot of guys are being hired because of their celebrity status. Now, everybody's trying to, of course, everybody's comparing it to Deion. Deion's a little different. Deion kind of went through the process. He was a high school coach, high school coordinator, moved up the ladder, hired the right people around him. And look at him now. He goes to Colorado. He takes all those persons with him. He advances them, and then somebody off of his staff, TC Taylor, gets the job. which is phenomenal. So it's a little different. But I think what's happening is a lot of administration people are seeing the dollar signs. They really are. And sometimes when you look at one side of a coin, you don't see the other side. So you actually don't know what that coin is worth or what's the value.
Well, you two guys still got fire in your belly, so I'm gonna go ahead on and say it. I think the presidents and the athletic directors are taking a shortcut. They are the fundraisers, and they're taking a shortcut to bring a celebrity guy in to try to quote unquote get the fundraise, help them in fundraising. And in this case, it backfired. I'm glad Coach Comegy, you there?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Coach, I mean, your take. I mean, when I was coming up, all three of you guys got trees that coaches have came up under you, and then of course, LC came up under Nick Saban, Brian Jenkins. Your deal is you came up underneath us, and then all of a sudden you got a tree. Coach Comegy, you got Aaron James now, the head coach. You've got a lot of guys that have came up under you as well. But Coach, at this point in time, do you think that winning is the reason why you raise money or trying to bring the money in? Is winning more important than trying to go out and fundraise?
Well, winning is very, very important. Let me just say that, your winning is important because a lot of times people won't give unless you are winning. And sometimes they'll say, well, let me know when we can help you. That's when you're not winning. But when you're winning, they tend to dig in their pockets a little bit so you can get the things. It's really for the ball players, what they need. They need uniforms, spikes. You hear about young men changing helmets and all that kind of stuff on the field, wearing somebody's helmet. Well, you got to go get that stuff. And sometimes the budget just doesn't allow it. And so I think, fundraising is very, very important to get the kids what they need, even if it's just mouthpieces or shoestrings or jocks or whatever they need. They feel good about themselves when they have. And if they start fitting in, that's what I was saying earlier. You got to make the kids feel good about themselves, regardless of what is going on around you. As I said, they see things. But if they're not feeling good about it and they see the coaches, talking about it bad and they hear things going on, they're not going to play for you. I think kids got to fall in love with you as a coach and as the coaching staff. And they do a lot to get them right and get them ready. How they sit on the bus, what's going to happen when they would get there, rules and regulations, disciplinary stuff. They want a football team. They want the luxuries of everything, but they want to be on the team. And some kids have never really been involved with a team, especially when the team begins to win. It's even better. Families start coming to games that never came to watch your son play in high school. A lot of things can happen, but fundraising is important to help out on getting the needs. And if you can't get the needs, it's hard. Just like at Valley. Yeah, well, I'm not going to talk about any school. I told myself we were going to do that. But
we said we weren't going to make no names, Coach. But Coach, I know you. I know you was getting started, Coach. That fire was coming at you, Coach. I know you said you had to go at 12:30. Tell me, Bethune-Cookman right now is putting together a committee. And they still looking for coaches, of course, Morehouse as well. Tell me, Coach, for people that's tuning in, what makes you the guy, or what's on your mind that you want to share with somebody that's saying, man, Coach Comegy is a guy that we need to hire?
Well, one thing I think they need to look at is I'm well experienced at bringing up a program instead of going, I've been into Tuskegee when they weren't winning. I've been in situations that weren't winning situations. Jackson State, when I got there, were really down, and I had to turn those programs around. And I think I've been pretty good at it to know how to adjust and make those programs work. I tried at the last place I was at, but I'm going to let that go, because I would just appreciate they gave me a job, just to do so, but I tried, but,
hey, Coach,
they didn't work for it.
I couldn't come with you for 20,000.
Hey, I didn't expect you to, partner.
Well, in saying that, and I think what's going on, and you guys make this comment on my statement first, is a head coach hired for fundraising. And number two, I think that we're still stuck in the 60s and 70s when coaches worked on campus. They were football coaches, but they worked in the dorm, they worked in the cafeteria. And I think as HBCUs continue to refine themselves, they got to get away from the old school where they don't want to pay assistant coaches because they're not instructors. Because you guys know, and I'm gonna say this and let you guys comment. You can have a biology seminar, you can have a debate show, the president can have a meeting, but nobody besides the head football coach on the college campus can get 20,000 to come every Saturday. So go ahead, LC. You can kind of comment on that.
I think that's very true. That when presidents are hired at universities, you barely even know. I don't even, I'm from Ohio, and I don't even know the president of Ohio State, but I know who the head coach is. The University of Alabama, I don't know the president, but I know who the head coach is. The University of Texas, I know who the head coach is, but I don't know the president.
Right.
So there is a lot of value, to that. And just like Comegy said, winning brings a whole lot. And, people like winners. People will reach in their pocket and do anything for winners when they come around to raising money. You can raise those tickets and you can have different events and, a lot of things go on, just like now with the new thing with the athletes right now that they can, sell their jerseys and do all that kind of stuff, being an advertisement promotion now. So you just look how football has changed NCAA completely around the country now that kids can make money now and bring money into the institutions. But then again, it goes back to what Rick says. You have to win. And when you win, it makes a big difference. And just like you say, it's four of us sitting on here and all of us don't win championships and won. And then you kind of look at us right now.
And we out of work.
Yeah, I know we people look at us totally it's different about black coaches. I don't know why our culture is like that, that you can't go back and win. I mean, if you won before, what's the difference? I just see too many of our counterpartners still moving around the place to place to place. And I'm gonna hit this one because I think it's very important. I thank Teddy Keaton for bringing me here as a coach. See, we don't work as a family or as blacks right now. See, all four of you guys should not be out of work because you have a group of guys that you had worked for and you groomed to become coaches. And some of them are head coaches, some of them are Division I and all that. Ain't not one of them pick the phone up and say, I'm going to bring my head coach along because what he did for me when I was starting off. And that's what you always got to look at. Your phone is not ringing, but it should be ringing. You should always be employed because of all the guys that you have brought through the ranks and what you have done for them.
Yeah. Coach Jenkins.
Right. Some of the things, I've never experienced a coach not being paid his worth. So that's hard for me to speak on because when I was at Cookman, they were such a prideful university, a first-class university. They made sure that we had everything we needed to be successful. When it came to fundraising, the main thing was, if they needed my assistance, then they would call. But it's not many times that they called me because the people who were in charge of that did what they were supposed to do, and so that part is kind of hard to speak on. But I do go along with LC. We got to do a better job at making sure that we keep each other in the game and giving each other advice. I remember, I don't know if Coach Comegy remembers this, but I remember when I played Coach Comegy and I whooped him pretty good. But I remember I apologized to him because we scored a touchdown late. We were up pretty good. We scored a touchdown late. And I said to him, Coach, hey, I apologize for that. And he stopped me mid-sentence. He said, Coach, don't you ever apologize for pushing your team to being excellent and efficient. Yeah. And I remembered that. And I think that's something that is missing too. We're not sharing that key information that's needed. Right. Every time I run into LC, he'll tell you, I pick his brain. I ask him all kind of questions about running a program. Hey, LC, what did you do back then? We talk about the Tennessee State days when he was there because you guys were dominant. You were doing it at a level that nobody else did it at and still hasn't done it at. So why somebody wouldn't pick up the phone and call LC or call you, Johnny, or call Coach Comegy, because Coach Comegy has did it at a high level and did it at many different programs. I don't know. I'm the young one in this, and I'm experiencing it a little bit, but I'm pretty sure the day's going to come when it changes, hopefully for all of us.
Yeah, Coach Comegy, and I'll go around and ask you guys. It's a question: can a celebrity coach open up opportunities for HBCU coach, but what a HBCU coach can't? Can he open up different arenas? Coach Comegy?
Yes.
Go ahead. Can a celebrity coach open up opportunities that you can't as an HBCU coach? If he comes in, can he open up some other avenues that you can't?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Okay, can a celebrity guy come in and coach a HBCU school and open up areas that you couldn't as just a great coach, a great head coach?
A great head coach?
Yeah. Can a celebrity coach open up other areas?
Say it again.
Okay, can a celebrity coach open up opportunities? Can you hear me? Oh, I'm gonna pass it on.
Go ahead, say it again.
Can a celebrity coach open up?
All right, pass it on.
Okay, LC, can a celebrity coach open up opportunities that you can't?
Well, see, I don't think so. I mean, for myself, I feel like I'm a celebrity, but what the celebrity coaches are doing is, and I think what they do, they kind of deceive the university. Because when they come in, they'll say, well, I can go get Shaq, I can go get Michael Jordan, I can go get this guy. So what the ADs and the president's eyes get this big. See, but they don't understand, but that's just a one year little donation to you. So what do you do after that? So no, because they're hard in it to like you and Jenkins and Comegy. They're hard not into it like we are. We the grinders. We know that it's a long run. It ain't just gonna be a quick fix. See, they like a quick fix. And I hate to say his name, but Dion was a quick fix, and then what did he do? Gone. See, so we in it for the long run.
Stepping stone, more likely.
Yeah. Go ahead, Coach. You want to chime in on that, Coach? Yeah,
I can hear it now. I said we're used as stepping stone right now. And it's a shame, stepping stone to move to another level, stepping stone to move to another school. They're not prepared. So they got to go somewhere to try to prepare themselves. So it looks like on their resume that they coaching somewhere. And once they get that, it's out of there, where a guy like I'm in for the long haul. Until you want to get, I believe in making the woodpile higher than what it was when I came. Right. I was raised that way, right. And so, I'm there for the long haul until you tell me I got to go. I'm going to keep grinding because I want to win just as much as the kids want to win. It doesn't matter how many rings you get. The next one is always the prettiest, so, I like winning. I mean, I like being part of it. I like being with the guys, I like being in the weight room early in the morning. I like, I just like the grind of the game. I miss the grind. And I miss the alumni that come in that want to help you be part of it. They ask you, what do you need? And are serious about it. I miss those things. Right. They're the things that I love about it. I just love the game, and it's just, I hurt because even here, I'm at the office right now talking to you. And, I have got written up 2 or 3 times because I'm writing football stuff down rather than taking in taxes, and so, I work at the tax office, and I got written up twice, because they caught my notes, so, I just, the game, so, they can keep writing me up because if I see something, I'm going to jot it down. I got some plays now. I got some offensive stuff too, Johnny, even though the defensive guy, I draw some, but I still, I still hate you for putting them 2 tight ends in on me that one time and going, when I was single safety high, and threw them on both sides of that safety, and that hurt me, boy.
All day long, Coach. Gee, what you think?
I wasn't too deep, guy. You caught me with that single high. I said, "Oh Lord, I got to go back in some too deep in this shit."
Coach, you're coaching.
You get like Ed Reed now.
Hey, you gonna have me thrown off the show, coach. What you real quick? What you think? You think a celebrity coach can bring more to the table than you can?
I think he can. I think he can bring in people that maybe I can't bring in. People of his own level, meaning Snoop Doggy Dogg, and I can't bring in Snoop. I can't bring in Strahan, and I can't bring those guys in, but I can bring some good people in to help us. But I can't bring in hip hop and all them guys that he knew making money, and I can't do that. But I can bring quality here. I can bring
only
quality.
thing counts,
They
man.
want to stay.
Only thing counts is W's, coach, and the rest to come. Go ahead, Coach Jenkins.
I think I'll say it like this: X's and O's. They got to pick that pen up and get on the board and show me. They got to show me that they're better than me out on the football field, teaching technique and everything, and not just scheme. So I don't think they bring anything better to the table than I do. Now they may have played the game at a higher level and got a little further than I did as a player. That just means they were blessed at more athletically than I am. That didn't mean they knew more. And I wouldn't say that they can bring more to the table off the field. I would say they'll get a different response than I would get because they've had a chance to meet that high celebrity style of people. So when they pick up the phone and call Shaq or Vince Carter or whoever, they'll get a different response than when Brian Jenkins calls. But if you put both of us in the room with those caliber of people, we're gonna come out with the same. Well, I'm gonna come out with a little bit more, because like Coach say, that's about the grind. And when you learn how to grind, you learn how to do things, and you learn how to convince people of what you're trying to do, and you learn how to show people your vision without even being there. So I think it's just a different in response, but I would not say they bring anything better to the table than I do or any of the gentlemen that's on the call right now.
Yeah, it's important for me to say, and knowing all three of you guys, is that it wasn't the first time where you tell your players to sit in the front three rows, they back to the back of the chair, their feet flat on the ground. It ain't the first time where you talk to your players about doing the right thing and don't embarrass yourself. People think that's the first time. That's kind of like a baseline for coaches,
Right.
because you don't care about the helmet. I tickle people all the time when they always ask me, well, where's the LC coaching it now? I said, look, my brother don't coach. He don't coach mascots. He coach football. And I'm pretty sure for both of you guys, you guys coach football, and that's why you guys shouldn't be out. And I'm not saying out of coaching. I think you guys should be much more, and you should be on some type of committee, or somebody should be calling you guys and saying, who should we hire as a coach, or even asking you to be on their staff at a higher level. We don't shoot our guys to the top, and even when you watch black college football, I don't see why they don't call you guys and have you on the sideline talk about what's going on in the game. You know what I mean? Or putting together some stuff like they do Eli Manning and them kind of guys. We don't take care of ourselves. We don't take care of our champions. You watch black college football now, the commentators are still talking about Eddie Robinson, Jay Gaithers, W.C. Gordon, which Marino Castle, which was great coaches. But it's our time right now. Our age we at prime age. Everybody's won an NCAA championship in the probably last 20 years or been in their 60s and up. Anybody disagree with that?
No, I agree with that absolutely. But when you mention those great men that you mentioned that were coaching, the one thing that all of them had is they had somebody by their side who could advise them. And I think on this Cookman situation, I think both groups, I wouldn't say failed each other, just didn't come through like they should.
You should be in that meeting right now.
I agree with that.
Flying you down, sitting in that meeting.
I agree with you. And I think when you hire a coach, you know what a coach is built of. You can feel his energy. You can feel his passion. When you meet Mr. Reed, you feel his passion. you know he's a fighter. When you do your history check on him and see how he came up and what he's been through, he's a masterful person. But you also know he's passionate about everything that he does and everything that he has done. So therefore, in knowing that, so they should have had someone by his side to advise him every step of the way. This is what you're going to deal with, but hey, let's put a plan together. There was no plan put together. Right. So I think on some ends, you know, both groups failed each other. And I wouldn't say Mr. Reed failed. He just didn't respond in the right manner. But I think his heart was in the right place. But if he would have had somebody there who knows the lay of the ground to advise him on different things, I think he would have been a success story in the long run.
Well, me chasing that story, I think the president, they hired him on the basis of letting him know that he never coached before and that they were going to put some people around him.
Right.
So I don't know what you think, Rick, as far as as a head coach, some of the qualities. If you could give us a couple words on qualities of a head coach.
Sometimes it's difficult for administrators to really know a football coach. A lot of times the football coaches know a football coach, but administrators, that were teachers and be part of the administration, I don't know if they really, had the background to really understand what a coach goes through. They know what they went through and academics and those things, but to know a coach. And I think that's why the NFL had etiquette programs a few years back, and how to talk with a president. There was, those type of programs where they had those NFL summer courses for Black coaches and things of that nature. And so we could pick up, how to be training our own minds on how we should be. And I don't know if they even thought about hiring somebody, or they're taking people on their face value because of the way they met you. And as I think the guy, the AD Reggie said, you don't know a person until you work with them sometimes, and it's true. Because when I've hired some guys that I thought were a certain way, but then again, when he was on the staff, he was a different guy. Right. So I just think that it happens in life. I don't see it being wrong or right. I'd rather be able to pick and choose my own people rather than having somebody speaking for someone. And I agree with what's been said, but I made mistakes. I made mistakes inside, outside. But that's the world of football. Football, we tell the kids, it's like life. And it's a life lesson. And so and everybody goes through it. It was a life lesson for them at Bethune-Cookman. They dodged the bullet because I'm not saying nothing. I'm not talking bad about Coach Reed, right. But the fact is, he just wasn't the right guy.
Right. Real quick, LC, and I'm run through y'all. Hey, y'all give me 2 words, LC, when I say, what is a resume worth today?
Well, I think a resume today is worth nothing. Nothing.
Nothing.
Because, it's nothing because a resume is good. I can look at my resume and say I got outstanding resume. I can just toss it out because hey, I ain't had a job for a long time. So Teddy Keaton called me up and gave me this opportunity here, and I've been through the ranks. And that's my high school.
Brian, you came up right behind me. They told us we had to cut our hair, get out of the hallway, put on some slacks, wear a collar shirt. I've seen you done the same thing. What a resume. You got 1-2 words to describe what's a resume today.
I agree with LC. It doesn't mean anything anymore. Usually it's your body of work. But now today, that doesn't mean anything anymore. And that's that's a shame, because you got guys that are in this profession that are greater than Brian Jenkins, who are great coaches that deserve an opportunity. But the question is, will they get the opportunity? If you look at their resume, no, because the resume doesn't mean anything, because you never get a chance to really look at their body of work. So I agree with LC. I could put a resume together. You can see all the championships. You can see all the positions I've coached, the different leagues I've coached in. But that doesn't mean anything these days. And it's a shame. It really is.
Yeah, and that's why
Right.
when I look at
Right.
these administrators and they get hard, they make sure they put all their certificates on their resume and all that, and all of them get hired because of all that. But then when it comes down to hiring a football coach, it's I just don't I don't know. I don't even want to go there. Hey, we coming to the end of the show. Coach Comegy, I know you got to get back to. We don't want you to get rolled up and don't cuss.
You ain't lying.
And get me put off my show, but give me your last words. Try to make it a minute so we can move. I got.
Well, I just want to. I'm honored to be here today, and I agree 100% about resumes. You know, I think that if they really want to know who we are, bring us in for an interview and let us sell ourselves and let us tell you who we are. Let's look in the eye face to face. These resume stuff is just not getting it because they already got in mind someone they like. Give you a chance to beat that guy out. And they're not doing that. And you're not getting a chance to get in there and beat the other guy out anymore because they're going by paper. You know, they're not, well, I can't say they're going by paper because sometimes the other guy don't have enough paper, but they're not looking at it just like was said here today. Let me get in there and look you in the eye and hustle that job out of it because I want to work. That's about it. Thank you very much.
Coach, I'm letting you finish it off, man. Guys, I want to thank y'all. LC, of course, man. You know, Mama told me to tell you that you done a good job. And Jake, man, look, boy, I'm going to be watching you. Man, next time we all get some jobs, hopefully it's soon, that we make sure we look out for each other. Thank you guys for coming on today. Thanks to everybody for tuning in. Probably my biggest show ever because they want to listen to championships, and you guys know how to win championships.
Gotcha. It's your biggest show.
Okay. Thank you.
And that's why.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. Got to go pay some bills and keep this thing going. Hey, I just want to say thank you guys for tuning in. You heard it from guys that's been in the trenches, guys that don't drove the car, not from guys outside and what you think and what you don't think. These guys have done it. They've came in, picked up these programs. They've cut trees. They built lockers. They lined fields. They've done it all, and they've won championships. And as I always say, if you feel yourself at the end of the rope, tie a knot, hold on tight, because ain't nobody bad like you.
Sybil Wilkes with what you need to know. Today is Monday, January 30th, 2023. Number 1, it all started about 8 p.m. Saturday, January 7th of this year, when Tyree Nichols, driving to his mother's home, was stopped by Memphis police for what was described as driving recklessly. Video released Friday indicated there were 2 violent confrontations between the 29-year-old man and 5 policemen who, like their subject, were black. Today's What You Need to Know includes a capsule version of the Memphis police video, lowlights if you will, along with the personal observations of a young black man and a young black woman with her own encounters with police. Number 2, many in the world, if not most, were introduced to Tyree Nicholson as a man attached to a maze of tubes on his deathbed. This is not how contributor Cameron Riley wanted to meet Tyree Nichols, described by friends as joyful and lovable at a memorial service this week. Read more about Cameron's thoughts about Tyree, the baby of the family, born 12 years after his closest siblings. He had a 4-year-old son and worked hard to better himself as a father. He was an avid skateboarder from Sacramento, California, and came to Memphis just before the pandemic. Number 3, the U.S. is poised to make COVID-19 vaccinations more like a yearly flu shot. The FDA asked its scientific advisors to help lay the groundwork for switching to once-a-year boosters for most Americans. COVID-19 vaccines have saved millions of lives, and booster doses continue to help the most vulnerable, even as more contagious variants have popped up. Number 4, social justice activist Coy Malone never met Tyree Nichols either, but they have a police stop in common. Fortunately, Coy walked away from that experience alive. Coy talks about the part of the historical distrust of law enforcement, often seen as being more heavy-handed and violent in dealings with black people or in black neighborhoods. Read more about this and Coy's prayer that this evil madness stops. Number 5, what is a promise? A promise is assurance that a particular thing will happen. God's promises in the Bible are just that. There are a lot of promises in the Bible. Depending on the research, you may find that there are more than 3,000. And some say more than 7,000. God's promises are found throughout the Bible. Read more about it in today's Ministry Monday. Here's your daily inspiration from Yogi's Jewels. Wise people believe that the new wealth is health. All right. Join me today live on YouTube and Facebook at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central with social justice activist Coy Malone, producer Ahmed Gordon, and Dr. Frederick D. Haynes of Friendship West Baptist Church as we discuss today's top headline and more. Join me and my friends at the American Heart Association as we kick off Black History and American Heart Month with the Be the Beat campaign, encouraging one person in each household to get CPR certified. I'm excited to host the Impact with Heart Black History Month celebration at the Long Gallery in Harlem this Thursday. To subscribe to my free daily newsletter, please visit SibylWilkes.com. Be informed, be empowered.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.